Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuhu. Subject computer application for 12th standard C section. Last class we completed chapter 11. Now in this session we are going to start a new chapter number 12, DNS, Domain Name System, part 1. So in this class inshallah we are going to cover the following topics: introduction, overview of DNS, IP address, IP4 addresses, IP IPv6 addresses. Let's start our class. Introduction. So in early days when web pages was introduced, at that time all the web pages are identified by their unique number. That number is called IP address. So it is very difficult to remember the different series of numbers for every web page, because the number of web pages are increased from numbers to thousands. So because of that, the new system want to be created. That system is called the domain name system. That is called DNS. Like phone book, where we have thousands of where we can store hundreds and 500 hundreds of numbers of our friends and relatives. That numbers cannot be remembered by us, so for that we used to store all the numbers with their names. In the same way, thousands of web pages, lakhs of web pages are stored in a computer with their web pages IP numbers are stored with their domain names. The domain names are easily understandable and easily accessible by the user. So this is the system called DNS, maintains all the directory of domain name, that is the host name, and help us to access the website using the domain name host names. Next, the what is the DNS? So for the communication to take place, the information should pass through seven layers, that is we discussed in previous chapter, OSI layers, where application layer plays among an important role in the 7 layers. There are several applications in the application layer, and DNS is one of them. So DNS is a software or any system which was which was processed in the application layer of OS layers. Internet is based on IP address, which we already know, not by domain names. So technically, when we access any web page or any computer through internet, that internet in internet all the computer and all the web pages are identified and accessed only through by the numbers. But because of our difficulty to remember the different series of numbers, we used this DNS, where to enable the user of domain name in a network, the domain name system is used. So domain name to IP address mapping must be consistent across the network to ensure interoperability. So DNS provides the domain name to the IP address mapping through name servers. So there was special servers, that is special computers was designed, and special computers are allotted for maintaining the DNS. That DS computers are called DNS servers. To know more about our DNS working, we must know about IP address, then only we can understand about the DNS component. So while, for example, if you take in a web page, when we want to access through the computer, for example, if you want to access a web page tnschools.gov.in, whenever the host computer, that is the computer which is used by the client, that is the host computer, sends the request through the web browsers to the DNS server. DNS server store all the web pages detail, that is mapping detail, and DNS return the IP address to the host computer. By using this IP address only, in the internet we able to search that particular web page called tnschools.gov.in and able to access that web page. So this is the process which was happen in now. Whenever we access any web page, this is the simple example for understanding how DNS work. So whenever we type any web page address in our web browser, that web page address is transferred to DNS server. From DNS server, we search all the DNS files which was stored inside the server computer, DNS server computer, and return that IP number which was respective to that DNS name, and to the host computer. By using this IP address only, that computer can search the web page, can access that web page. Next one, what is IP address? So of course we know IP address is a simple logical address to any network layer or any computer. Like how the door number and flat number is used to differentiate different houses in any apartment, in the same way IP address is also used to differentiate every computer, every web page in the internet. It is also find the host system in the whole network, and due to increase in number of systems in network, there is need of more addresses, which lead to two addressing methods. So because of today, every mobile system is also accessed only through IP address. That's why the different and methods are the two different methods are used to fire to allot IP address for each and every node. Node means any computer or any device connected to computer is called node. So there are two methods are used for IP addressing. One is IPv4, another one is IPv6. Let's discuss about this. First, IPv4. What is IPv4 address? Is a 32-bit unique address. It means there are something around 32 numbers are allotted for this 32 number bits. 32 bits are allotted for each and every computer address. No two systems can have same IP address. If the network has a P connections, then P addresses should be there. It means if there was 1,000 computer in any network, then 1,000 IP address should be generated in IPv4 as well as in IPv6. An address space is the total number of addresses that can be made by that protocol. So address space means, for example, if you want to identify any number, that IP number should contain 32 bits of number. That bits of number should be stored. That location is called the IP address. It is determined by the number of bits that the protocol use. If the protocol uses n bits, then the address space of the protocol would be 2n. Addresses can be formed. So the number of addresses that can be formed IPv4 is 2 power of 232. There are two ways to represent the IP address. One is binary notation and dotted decimal notation were used in the IPv4 addresses. So first we will see what is binary notation. In binary notation, the addresses are expressed in 32 bits. It means there are 32 bits are allotted for each and every computer. For example, here you can see in there are say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 8 plus 8 16. So in the same way 16 plus 16 32 bits are allotted for each and every computer in a network. In the binary notation system, if you take a dotted decimal notation, then the address is written in decimal format number by separating format separated by dots. For example, here you can see 128.143.137.144 is a dotted decimal notation system in IPv4 6, where each and every number consists of something around 6 7 3 4 5 6 7 8 bits. So 8 plus 8 16. So 16 plus 16 32. So there are 4 bytes of memory is allocated for each and every IPv4 IP address. So by in this diagram itself, we can able to understand how the 32 bit, that is 32 bit IPv4 addressing system method was used. So in the same way IPv6 also work, but here the number of bits are increased from 32 bit to 128 bit, because the number of computers also increased. When the number of computers are increased, in the same way we want to increase the name, and the length of the address have also increased. The number of addresses that can be formatted in IPv6 is up to 2 power 7, that is 128 bits per computer. So IPv4 6 address contains 128 bits are divided into 16 into 8 bit 16 bit calculation. For example, here you can see there are 64 bits are here and 64 bits are equally divided. These each and every block consists of 16 bits. So each and every block consists of 16 bits. So here you can see the 4 blocks, and here in this also store 4 blocks. So these four blocks represent the network prefixes, whereas these four blocks represent the host number. Each block is then changed into 4-digit hexadecimal number separated by colon numbers. So in IPv4 we use decimal numbers. See here, we use decimal number notation, but in IPv6 we use hexadecimal number system. In the same way, in IPv4 we use dots for separating the components or blocks, whereas in IPv6 we use colon for separating each and every block. So 2001 is one block, 00 is another block. In the same way, 32313 is another block. Each and every block is in the form of hexadecimal, and every block is separated by colon in IPv6. So hexadecimal number starts from 0 to F, which we already know, which is studied in 11th standard. In the same way, the 128 bit is divided equally divided, and first 64 bit refers to network prefixes, whereas last 64 bit refers to host numbers. So this is the end of the lesson. I hope you understand the concept of IPv4 and IPv6. So prepare well, clear all your doubts, prepare the question answers, prepare for public examination. If you have any doubt, contact me, clear all your doubts. Best of luck. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.